thing that they told us is that we are a project-based program. This was for my TK to fifth grade. And they're like, oh, we're project-based, and that's what we guide everything through. Like our projects, we're based around. We do, okay, by project-based, it's pretty much just arts and crafts, right? They do this coloring page, or they do this building a model, or what, and it's cool, especially for the younger kids, especially for kids who like art. It's great, but I mean, when you got a group of fourth, fifth, third grade boys who like they want to go out and play basketball, or they want to play dodgeball or kick, like they want to do these things, but when the whole inherent design of like the program is nothing to do with that, even trying to get these things together when, you know, like, all right guys, we're going to play kickball. Well, they're not used to being guided to play kickball like that. They're used to, oh, 3 kids will play and another 2 kids will have to go, like they're not used to like working through all the kinks of trying to figure out a fair game of kickball. And that's a project-based approach. It has good and bads. And then when I worked for middle school, it was a community-based approach. It was community disguised as recreation, right? It was, you know, we said we were a recreation-based program. And through recreation, it is actually just community. You teamed up, you worked together, and then you played a game. You know, you had to rely on each other. You had to communicate with each other. You know, some kids didn't have to do that and they were really good and like they got away from it, but most kids couldn't. And usually kids who were really good, like they had the ability to be very strong community makers anyways, and people just gravitated to them, and it fed both sides. You know, the weakness of that is the kids who weren't, like, they were a little more antisocial, or they just weren't into recreation. This is the issue with just being pure higher on the recreation side. Was if I had a group of girls who didn't want to do something, they were not going to do it. And middle school girls, when you try to get them to do anything, right? Good luck. You know, unless you're going to play all your power cards, which is the stupidest thing you can do, then you're gonna burn yourself out. So you have to like work with them. Like, all right, what can we do that is still community based, and at the same time, from my side, I have to make it, you know, some like go into who they are and show them that I do care what they're into as well. So, you know, I think community basing things, especially as we get older, is very important. But we're stuck where project basing is the more tangible, fruitful, doable items.
Correct.
You know, and it's kind of trying to like blend. It's like we're just trying to blend that at this point.
Well, if you look at the project, it's really just reliant on the person leading the project.
That's right? Very true. That's very true.
When you're looking at community events, it's reliant heavily on your community members showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so it is a blend of how do you manage that. And when it comes to a lot of virtual things, that's real. It's gonna be project based, because you need some kind of content to engage somebody.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just be like, okay, let's all just show up and then we'll figure. I mean, technically you can, and sometimes it works. When you have your people who know each other and they have an overall goal and mission in mind and they know what it is. But when you're starting out, when trying to figure things out, it's okay, let's get something going, and you bring it to your virtual platform, and then people will latch on, and from there you'll get a groove, I'm assuming. I mean, it's all a process of programming and developing.
Yeah.
So it's just a different medium.
I remember when right when you got let go, released, whatever, however you got canned.
Laid off.
When you got fucking canned, then you got canned. They don't take your shit no more.
Well, actually, if I was fired, I wouldn't have been able to get benefits.
Oh.
The unemployment benefits. So
Whoa.
I was laid off, and because of that, I was able to get the unemployment benefit.
Okay. Well, I remember right when that happened, I don't know who I was asked to help lead small groups for our confirmation kids, right? I think it's only confirmation 2. Whatever happened to confirmation 1, no idea. Like I met your Confirmation 1 group, yours, one time, and I was on their Confirmation 2 retreat day, like 2 weeks before they got confirmed. I'm like, I have no idea. Like
it was just a terrible storm, because once again that was when we were shifting the program again.
Yeah.
In which we wanted to get them, because then people were, I mean, the parish was telling me this was a lot. It was a lot happening, and a lot of requirement for just volunteers and whatnot. And so I wanted to dwindle it down and simplify it. And so Confirmation 1, we're just going to be tasked to coming to ministry and getting involved from there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Confirmation 2 year will be the separate time, because we were small enough to get to know the Confirmation 1 candidates and still work with them. But half the year was cut off because of COVID.
Yeah.
And so they got just lost in the storm of it all.
Dude, it was a freaking...
It was rough.
I remember talking to some of them and like, all right, guys, like, who wants to find whatever, like, Bible verse it is? Like, they all looked at me like I was trying to freaking burn them. They're like, I'm like, here, can someone, like, I'm like, do you guys know how to, like, go through a Bible? They're like, no. I'm like, no? Like, if it's no, it's fine. It's like, then no. I'm like, oh, damn, okay, well...
No,
like,
it was rough. But the thing though is, it was that Confirmation 1 class though, it was a lot of kids that came through the middle school program.
Yeah, I mean...
And so a lot of involved kids though, but it was rough. It was rough. I mean, they were given a really bad hand.
They got,
And they were short.
Dude, it rang true, because I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but the Confirmation 2 group I did Confirmation 1 with, right? So I taught them everything. Not everything. I know. Like they barely latched onto much, but like they latched onto the ability to open up and be ready for Confirmation 2.
They got some foundations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why I had you lead Confirmation 1.
That's all that they need.